Filming from Gen Con 2014, I'm here with Anthony Galati, who is the designer of Yashima, a game that is going to be on Kickstarter and that is going to be published by Greenbrier Games. And Anthony has agreed to tell us a little bit about his new design. Thank you, Anthony.
Okay, well, Yashima is a game that's a miniatures combat game. And it's based around the premise that you are a kami master. And the kami is the spiritual entity of a tortoise, a dragon, a tiger, or a phoenix in the base game. The base game comes with 4 different kami masters. You have Ikaru the priestess, Rosamu the monk, Kenta the Ronin warrior, and Akikyo the fire priestess.
The art is pretty astounding. Did you make it?
No, we did not. The art is being done, I believe, by Alex at Artistic Justice Games.
Really good art.
And Greenbrier has a partnership with them that they're doing. Jeff could actually give you a little bit more information. The tortoise, tiger, dragon, and phoenix are the kamis. Now, the game, so once you pick your kami, and once you pick your character, and then you pick your kami, you have a grouping. You have your helper card, your avatar card, which tells you basic information. You have your character's cards, which are the bread and butter, and then you have their tome. Their tome is a deck of double-sided cards that have the secrets of their houses that have been passed down for generations to them. The secret abilities and techniques that kami master knows not only. So you bond with the dragon. In this example, Kenta the Ronin warrior is bonding with the dragon. You shuffle the character cards with the kami cards, and this is your life, it is your attacks, it is your defense. It is also the only time in the game that you shuffle. So, after you have that, you are ready to begin the round. We have a little round overview card on the back of the helper card, which goes through the steps of the game. There are 2 major sections of the round. It's the Destiny phase and the Battle phase. The Destiny phase is the setup for the round. You determine the actions that happen in the round. And then the Battle phase is when you use those actions. So every game round starts with a move and attack action, just standard. In a 2-player game, each player then adds another token to the pool. In a 3-player game, it would start with 2 move actions and an attack. In a 4-player game, it would start with 2 attack and 2. So you'd have 8 total actions in a 4-player game. So in a 2-player game, these are the standard actions of the round, and then each player will simultaneously reveal an action that they want to add to that round. So for example's sake, we'll say it's an even round of 2 move and 2 attack. Next is the Reconcile Stage. First, during setup, you will have drawn your cards in your hand up to your hand limit. Since you have a limited hand size, the Reconcile step allows you to have a little bit of a choice in the cards in your hand. So what you can do is you can cycle cards during the Reconcile stage that you may not want to the bottom of your deck and draw them to give you different options. After that, initiative. You have a karma value. During setup, you'd add that number of cards to your karma pool. The pool is the resource of spiritual energy that you have to play the tome abilities. After that, during initiative step, you flip a card into the karma pool. The player with the highest karma value goes first. So I have a karma of 6. Let's assume my opponent only had a karma of 4. I go first, and now it is the battle phase. I have 2 things I can do on my turn. I can do a tome action and a combat action. The combat action is assuming that we are within range and within the grids displayed on the cards. I can take an attack action from the pool and play the card. There is no other cost associated with playing in a battle card. It's just take the attack action from the pool, you play the card. You can then do what it says. Typically, so you're attacking them for 2 damage. The only thing during an attack that matters is the attack value. The karma is only when it's in the karma pool. So I attack for 2 damage. This specific card says it place it into my karma pool or on top of my deck. So I can take this card and put it here or here. Typically, a card will have, once used in an attack, it will go to the bottom of the deck. Then, a move action will move you. I have a tome action. I can do one of 3 things with my tome action. I can focus and focus spiritual energy and add another card to my karma pool. That's one thing I could do. Or I could turn a page in my tome to reveal additional abilities that I can play on my later turns.
Is the game in the final product going to have cards for the tome or an actual little tome? Just curious.
I believe right now the Greenbrier is going to have cards for the tome. Yes.
Yeah, it's probably actually better so you can lay flat.
Yeah. And then the third thing that I could do, so I can do that, karma, tome, or I can pay for an effect. I can use karma from my pool to do the ability on the cards. Or, in some examples, there are characters that have an effect that I can exert to make everyone adjacent to me gain burn stats. So exerting in the game is taking the top card and discarding.
I see.
Losing a life to set everyone on fire. So those are the things I can do on the turn. Round play alternates, so the next player will probably take an attack, and then all that would be left is I could take a move action and move. When you disengage from combat, you have to lose a life. Now, in response to an attack, so I attack the opponent with my Power Weave. In response to an attack, an opponent can play a defensive card. Defensive cards typically have an ability with text that states what happens. In this case, a clash, you lose the card. The player defending loses the card, it's discarded. And then both the defending player and the attacker exert, so they both take a damage. And if the card that is exerted has a higher karma than the attacker's, all damage is prevented from that attack. So you're essentially taking 2 damage to prevent either all the damage or 4 damage. And there are various different defensive cards. Some are just use the card to prevent 3 damage. And when a card is used in the game, it is placed on the bottom. When it is lost, it is discarded. So that is the general feel of all the mechanics in the game. And then basically what happens is there's movement of characters on the board and an intense combat between the characters that results in various different character abilities being brought into play, different tome actions being played, and overall just a lot of fast-paced combat. The only thing that I haven't talked about is the win condition.
The win condition, yeah.
The win condition of the game. The game is a miniatures combat game, but it has no player elimination.
No player elimination. So that's unusual. So I'm curious to see how that is resolved.
In a 4-player game, say we were playing a 4-player game where every player was free for all, no teams. But typically what will happen is one person will get knocked out early. Someone will team up on the person. In Yashima, you're not knocked out. You're knocked out for the round, and then you come back. You flip to your restored side of the card.
So you're gonna pass out.
So for that one round, you pass out, but then you come back possessed by your kami spirit, and you are stronger, better, faster, with higher damage potential. Also, you're no longer the target. Because the way to win the game is to be the only player that hasn't hit the restored state.
I see.
So what ends up happening is that, do I really want to take out a guy earlier in the game and have him come back that much stronger? Or do you want to try to mitigate damage amongst all opponents and fight a bunch of people so that everyone stays within the same limit and then try to take them all out at once? The best part about team play is that you win when you make both of the opponents restore. But friendly fire, and you can hit multiple characters. So
yes.
I can blast my buddy and all of the opponents with this attack. And that dynamic comes into play. Do I use some of my attacks, which may hurt other people? So that's a general overview of Yashima.
Thank you, Anthony, for taking the time to telling us about Yashima, a game that is going to be on Kickstarter soon and is going to be published by Greenbrier Games. Thank you, Anthony.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate your time.